My name is Glynn Burridge. I'm English born, but grew up in Iran, and where I lived for about 23 odd years. What brought me to Seychelles basically was I was working for an Iranian family who in 1975 bought one of the outer islands of Seychelles called Daros. And little did we know that in 1979 the Islamic Revolution would happen and we would have to leave. And then I came up to Seychelles. In the meantime, I had become a Seychellois citizen. And then I was kind of kidnapped by tourism because I'm a writer. I know Seychelles well. Those years when I was living on the outer islands, I profited from visiting basically most of the islands in Seychelles. We have 115 islands, even as far away as Al Dabra. 20 years later, here I am, a very happy Seychellois. I very much enjoy living here. I can't actually imagine living anywhere else. It's as simple as that. Well, there are a number of things that are unique about Seychelles. I mean, if you look at Seychelles in its geographical context, I mean, it's probably one of the most beautiful set of islands in the world. But I think that the appeal of Seychelles goes beyond the physical beauty of the islands and their surrounds. I think it's a way of life. Seychelles, if you're that way inclined, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people need the casino, the disco, the this, the that, to see and be seen. But if you are in any way inclined to enjoy, appreciate nature, and I would say almost a kind of spiritual life, I would say that Seychelles is the place for you. I think it's, simply put, it's a place where people who do not want to lead a processed, artificial life, which we're being squeezed into in Europe and elsewhere, they would choose a life in Seychelles. We are one big family. We're only 95,000 people. Basically, you have an ability here like nowhere else on earth to know a very large portion of the population. So you feel very much part of a family. But in many ways it is. I mean, it's a soulful life here. Seychellois are very friendly people. It's a very accommodating environment. It's very benign. There are no nasty diseases. There are no nasty animals. You know, for example, we don't have snakes. We don't have things that bite. We have very little illness here. We like to call Seychelles a place where not only a land of perpetual summer, because that's what basically it is, although we've had a little bit of rain recently, but that's what makes it green, so we can't complain. But it's also the land of where harmony is a way of life. Here, there's very little racism here. Everybody just gets on and lives together and enjoys, and there is incredible bounty. Seychelles has, as I said, 115 islands, and if you're here, the beautiful thing about it is that I think what sets Seychelles apart from so many other places is the diversity. So there's an incredible diversity of topography. There's an incredible diversity of people, different peoples from all over the world. Diversity, therefore, of culture. Diversity of cuisine. So it's a very spiritual existence here. Which is something when I go back to Europe, I find to be completely dead. I'd never really lived by the ocean. I hadn't had very much contact with African people, but I found that my connection with Seychelles was almost instant. I think helped along by a very welcoming people. I made friends here very, very quickly. Okay, there was a smaller population in those days, and maybe the pace of life was even slower than it is today. You know, I think if you're going to come here, I think, first of all, look into the history of Seychelles, learn something about where it came from, because I wish I'd done that earlier on, because I think it would have allowed me to fit even quicker than I did. I think it's important to try and read a few history books, find out where Seychelles came from, what is the makeup of society here, how did things evolve the way they did, because that will make your passage here a lot more pleasant. And also try and learn the language, because wherever you are, if you make an attempt to learn the language, even an attempt, you'll get a lot more currency with the people than if you don't. But I made the connection very, very quickly, and I was very, very eager to learn about the ocean, to dive, to sail, to fish, so you had to learn all the skills associated with living by the sea. And I just got into it, and I went into it so deep I never came out.